Welcome to the Journey to a Million podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Walker. This podcast is about my personal journey from being $25,000 in debt to getting to $1 million of net worth by the age of 43. Follow along with my journey, implement the ideas, and let's do it together. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's get started. What's going on, guys, and welcome to the Journey to a Million podcast. Today is Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, almost to 2022 here. Things are looking good here. We got a nice little pump up by Bitcoin today. We're seeing kind of a trend reversal. It definitely consolidated for the past 2 weeks, and we saw a little move up to about 48. Now we're getting a move up to above 50. I think we're coming in right around 51, just under right now. And the markets are feeling good about that. We're seeing 20% gains, 10 to 20% in most altcoins. So I definitely think we're seeing like the beginning of the next move up, in my opinion. You know, I've said this, I think a couple episodes ago, where it was like, I thought that we would get some kind of pump again near Christmas during the holidays, just because I guess around that time last year is when we saw that move from Bitcoin going from like 20 to 24, then to 30, all in like one weekend or something. And it just seemed like everything was just like going crazy. And I just kind of had that feeling that we'd be with family again, and then just kind of experiencing those same things, seeing Bitcoin once again going up. Like, so hopefully we do get a pump above 50K, 51. We see the move into 53, which I think is like the breakout point. If we cross that 53 and keep going, like, it's off to the races, I think, at that point. And then we'll see how high we go. So do remember, like we talked about, remember to take profits, because if you have some and you've been holding them for the past few weeks, then you're probably seeing like some good gains, because like we talked about the one Avalanche, Avalanche was at like 150, went from 65 to 150, then back down to 85, you know, so it'd have been nice to take those profits anytime between 120 and 150. Now we're getting Avalanche back at 122 or so. So now we're almost very close to where we were before. And then Bitcoin is not even close to where it was at that point. So just think about that, because if we're just seeing like these kind of pumps from altcoins off a small pump from Bitcoin, just think about how high we can go if we do really cross into that Bitcoin area where we're in like the 55, 60, 65, 70 Bitcoin. You know, like, think how high we can go off that with the altcoin. So exciting times. Let's take a look at our crypto portfolio here. As you remember, going into last week, we were at 1,238 and 30 cents. So we definitely came back and retraced a little bit. But now we're back up a little bit off that. Our 70 Cardano are now worth $1.46. Last week they were 127, so that's definitely a nice jump. That's 102.20 total. And then our Solana is 191.80. Last week it was 184.80, slight increase. Our Mana was at 322 last week, and now it's at 355. 10% gain right there, so 710 total. And then we have 260 XRP at $1. I think it was like 80 something cents last week, 81. So that's like a 25% increase on XRP. And then Stormex 0.024, we have 5,000 of those. That makes 120. And I think at last week we're at 0.022. So Stormex, I think, could be a big one. But I think that'll be more towards the end of the bull cycle, because you know, it just seems like that one is so far down the chain. It's like we see everything else pump before money flows into that. So once you see things like Stormex pumping, you know, last time that happened, that was like kind of towards the end of the first hit up to 65K. So that could be something to look at. If we see Stormex go into like 1 cent again, which would be a 4x from here, it's probably a good time to start taking profits elsewhere. All right. So we're at 1,384 total on our crypto portfolio. So that's up about 10% from last week. We're at 1,238 and 30 cents last week. So nice to go back up, and we'll see how we go from there. And just looking at the sports really quick, last week there wasn't a ton that I liked. And, you know, I don't know if I paired my teasers up right, because, you know, we won most of our teaser plays, just had a couple that didn't go our way. And you know, that cost us a good week. So as you remember, we were plus 385 going in. That was the first week. We were above the crypto portfolio. See Hammy down there. Just trying to get in the video, you know. All right, so we had the 49ers minus 9.5 against the Falcons. We moved them down to 2.5. And then the Saints and Bucks, we thought the Bucks would show up. They got shut out 9-0. And, you know, some people probably predicted that, but it would have been nice to take the Saints plus 17.5 on that one. But we chose to take the Bucks minus 3.5, or I did. So we lost 130 there, even though the 49ers won handily. Then the Raiders and Browns, we had the Browns +1 to +8, and then the Texans +4 to +11. They both won and were both covered pretty easily on that. So we won $100 on that. Again, like we said, take the underdogs, and it seems to work out with the teasers more often than not. So we also took the Pats +2.5. We moved them out to 9.5, and that game basically we were going to cover until Jonathan Taylor broke off that long touchdown at the end of the game. So can't really be mad at that one. That's just like a bad luck. But, you know, Pats didn't play their best game, definitely. But all right, Jets, Dolphins minus 9.5. We moved them to minus 2.5. You know, the Jets put up a good fight and tied the game up, but the Dolphins ended up winning by a touchdown, I think. So that was an easy win. Not an easy win, but you know what I mean. Minus 130 on that because we lost the Patriots. Then we also took the Rams straight up minus 4.5, and they beat the Seahawks 20-10. So unfortunately, we had to bet against my team, the Hawks, which I'm wearing Hawks colors today. Got this new little polo from Roback. I've been meaning to buy one of those for a long time. Finally did. I definitely like the collar, the way it fits. And, you know, the arms are pretty good too. I wish they're a little tighter on the sleeves, but, you know, it's not. I can get that altered if I want to. Either way, I'm like, most golf polos are like giant in the sleeves, so these aren't bad. This fits well. So I definitely ordered a couple more after that, and like their shirts a lot. Roback is the one. It is RHOBACK. All right. So looking at our parlay, we lost 50 on both because we had the Rams minus 4.5, Pats +2.5, Chiefs -3. And then I think all those covered except for the Pats. So we lost 50 on that. Then we had the Rams Seahawks over. That was they only scored 30 total. It's kind of a weird game. Saints Bucks over. Terrible pick there. And then because that was only 9 points, not even close. Cards Lions over 47.5. I think they scored like 42, but I would have never expected it to be 30-12 Lions, you know, or whatever the score was. I know it was a Lions domination, and you know, we expected the Lions to get like 10-17. I did. So not the best week. We were down 160 on the week, which puts us at +225 overall. So let's go into this week and see how it looks. I'm feeling a lot better in this week. I've seen a lot of games that I do like. I didn't see a lot of underdogs that I did like, but I think this is going to be kind of a chalky week. Could be wrong about that, but that's just what I'm feeling, at least for these games. So first up, we're going Browns and Packers. Packers are -7.5 at home. Browns, they're just like on this bad slump right now. You know, they're just not in a good place. I think the Packers, they're going to easily win this one. So we're taking the Packers -7.5 down to -0.5 point. And then the Chiefs hosting the Steelers, Chiefs -7.5. We're taking them down to 0.5 point as well. I think this is basically a lock for both these teams to win these games. I think they're going to dominate. Both these teams will likely win by double digits. I know the Chiefs have had some issues with health-wise on some players, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think they're so much more well-coached and have much more talent on their team either way. I think their coaching is going to win out, plus they're at home. I mean, I think defensively, they have better defense. They have better offense. They have better quarterback. They have better receivers, even if they're not healthy. I mean, like you could kind of argue that one, but I just think like so many factors point to the Chiefs in this one, and the Packers, you know, they're scoring 30 points a game on offense. Browns are barely able to score 2 touchdowns in a game. So I think this is an easy win for both these teams. We're going to put 260 to win 200 on this one, a little bit more than usual, but I don't want to go higher than that because if something happens on one of these, it's just going to set us back for the whole entire week. And I don't want us to do that again after we did a couple weeks ago because the Vikings lost to the Lions. So on that note, we're fading the Vikings this week. Rams -3 at the Vikings. Vikings, I just don't see it from them lately. Like I think their offense is struggling. I think they do play better offense at home, but no Dalvin Cook this week. That's definitely going to be a big factor. And then the Rams, they're just going to be way, way better on offense. And I think they're kind of coming together at the right time. So give me the Rams from -3 to +4. And then the Pats hosting the Bills. Pats are -2. We're going to move them out to +5. I don't think that it's beyond the Bills' ability to win this game and win by like a touchdown. But if it's the touchdown, I could see it. That's like the most I could see the Bills winning by. I could definitely see the Patriots winning by 10 or losing by 4 and somewhere in that range. And then in the best case scenario for the Bills, I could see them winning by a touchdown or so. So I'm going to take my chances on that. And then we're going to take the Pats from -2 to +5, and then just take the small amount of points with those two teams. I think the quality wins out in these situations because you have two teams that have, the best coaching in the league, basically, and they're going to execute and have a great game plan. So if they lose and don't cover, it's one of those things, but they're teams that you can definitely count on. So we'll take them for that. Then we got one more teaser here with the 49ers -3. We're going to move them to +4 tonight against the Titans. I think the 49ers are getting hot at the right time. I think the Titans are fading. To me, they're lucky to be what their record is. I don't see them as that good of a team, even with A.J. Brown back. I think, they don't really have much on offense. Plus, they've been struggling to protect Ryan Tannehill. You combine that with like Nick Bosa. I can't even remember which Bosa plays on the 49ers. I think it's Nick Bosa. But yeah, so we're going to take Nick Bosa and the 49ers to sack Ryan Tannehill a lot. The Titans struggled to even score points on the Steelers last week. I think they're one of those teams that like they're a first place team, but they're going to get destroyed in the first round of the playoffs. All right. Next up, we got the Seahawks hosting the Bears on the other side of that teaser. They're -6.5. So we're going to put them to +5. So I do think the Seahawks can beat the Bears. I don't have much faith in the Seahawks right now. But I do have enough that I think they can take care of the Bears at home. I think the Bears are just kind of Justin Fields. I think he's got some kind of ankle issue or something right now. Plus, I just don't see them being that motive. The defense is playing hard, and I think this will probably be a close, low-scoring game because they can probably shut down the Russell Wilson in them, but I just think the Hawks will do enough to win at home. It'll be close, and it could be one of those that are sweating out towards the end, but I think I'm leaning towards the Seahawks winning this game. So let's take the Seahawks down to +0.5 point and 49ers to +4, 130 to win 100 on that one. So we got one for 260 to win 200. Then the next two are 130 to win 100. And then closing out, we just have two parlays for fun, both 50 to win 500. So we're going to take the Packers -7.5, Chiefs -7.5, Rams -3, and Pats -2. So the four teams we feel most confident in, let's roll with them, see if they can get us some money for that weekend. And then we're also going to take the 49ers Titans over 44.5. I mean, I definitely think the Titans can put up 17 to 20 points, and I think the 49ers will put up somewhere in the range of 20 to 27 points. So it could be close, but I do think this has a potential to go over. I think Ravens Bengals over 45 definitely has that potential too. Ravens games have just been really high scoring lately, and I think the Bengals kind of fit into that strategy. So I think this game will be 48 points or more. Bills Patriots, this is kind of a tough one, but for some reason, when the games are in Buffalo, I'm kind of leaning, or in New England, I'm leaning towards a more offensive game. And I think with last game, it was 14 to 10, but that was terrible conditions with the weather. They couldn't even pass. I do think these two teams are going to execute enough to get 24 to 20. I definitely think that can happen in this one. So I wanted to have 4 on the parlay. I don't feel as confident about that one, but I think, I trust these teams to execute, and that's what it comes down to. And then lastly, it's hard to get the other two because I definitely like the first two a lot. The second two are kind of like, but we'll see. We have the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys over 46.5. So the reason I'm taking this one is because a couple weeks ago we had the Washington football team under 48, and that was with the Cowboys in Washington, D.C. But this week it's in Dallas. That game barely hit the under by about a point or two. And I think because of that, I want to see this game. I think it's basically if the same, I think they scored 47 in the game in Washington. So if they score 47 in this one, they'll actually hit the over. And I think we're on point in this one because this game being in Dallas, I think they'll score a little bit more. Like Dallas, they've been hearing all week how their offense is broken. I think they're up and down on offense week to week, and I think this will be one of the weeks where they're scoring about 30 points, and then give me the Washington football team to score 17. So give that be 47. So all right, so that's basically it for this week. Let's see how that goes. This is actually getting pretty fun because we're up on both accounts right now. I'm feeling good about the crypto situation going into this holiday week, and let's just enjoy it. Enjoy hanging out with family if you're able to. If you're not, I'm sorry. It's tough times right now in the world with all the stuff that's going on, but everyone just wish you a safe and happy holiday, and hopefully you get to enjoy it as much as possible. And appreciate you tuning in today. Y'all have a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you later.